Let us go to Revelation 10 now. If those people in Revelation 7 are going to be standing before the Most High day and night and serving Him in His temple, after they've been redeemed out of great tribulation, then I'm saying if that's on earth, it would be that temple that we just saw in Ezekiel, the various chapters. And that temple is said to be is to be built by the hands of Zerubbabel and Joshua. If that's true, according to your doctrine. So if that's true, then this isn't the temple that the man of sin going to stand in. Because that means Joshua and Zerubbabel would have to be resurrected now to build that for the man of sin to stand in. Let's go to Revelation chapter 10. Revelation chapter 10. See, I'm not going to leave nothing out. It's something I want us to recognize here. Because we're about to get into well, we're not going to get into the two witnesses, but we're going to read what's coming up into the prophecy or the vision that John saw in Revelation about these two witnesses, right? But before we read that, I want to make sure we read this. Revelation 10, verse 5. And the angel which I saw stand upon the sea and upon the earth lifted up his hand to heaven, and swear by him that liveth forever and ever, who created heaven and the things that therein are, and the earth, and the things that therein are, and the sea and the things which are therein, that there should be time no longer. But in the days of the voice of the seventh angel, when he shall begin to sound, the mystery of God shall be finished, as he hath declared to his servants the prophets. Now, I ask you again, where do we find in all that he declared to his prophets about his redeeming of Israel, his getting the nations in order, and rebuilding the desolate and the waste places, and having all the nations come before him, and the wars and all this stuff that's going to go down? Where in there does he show us that Edom and Japheth will rebuild a temple? Because we're going to go read something over in the next chapter, chapter 11, and you can't just run there. Why do I say that? Let's go over to chapter 11 now. So remember, the angel said, when the seventh angel, in the days that the seventh angel blow his trumpet, the mystery of God is going to be finished, as he declared it unto his servants, the prophets. So one thing a lot of people don't understand is when you get into most of these visions were already talked about in the prophets of old in different ways. And keep building. If you want to build, you can get at us, www.congregationisrael.net. You can get at me on Facebook, Zadokbenisrael. You can get at Nashon Israel. You could go to YouTube and check out this page, the Zadokbenisrael page, Yeshua Knesset page, the ZE5133 page, Sister Benaiah page. You can check out these pages, brothers and sisters. And if you want to reach us, we're reachable. We're willing to build. And God willing, in the future, there'll be more studies coming. But, so, with this angel know that everything is going to go according to how the Most High declared it to the servants, the prophets. So in Revelation, it's letting you know that God's plan has been declared to his prophets. So we should know what the prophets say about the plan. Not just what John's seeing. But let us continue. Revelation 11, go over to the next chapter. We're going to read 1 and 2. And there was given me a reed like unto a rod, and the angel stood, saying, Rise, and measure the temple of God, and the altar, and them that worship therein. Now, how do you measure the temple, the altar, and how do you measure the people? So what he's telling John to do with a reed, what kind of measurements are those? And what temple of God was, because remember, John was the one who was measuring the temple of God. But brothers and sisters, he's on the island of Patmos. So just like Ezekiel was in a vision in the 25th year, and he went and saw the pattern of this house and all of this and was showed all of this and had to write it down. John is being showed something because this is in the 90s, okay, like the year 90 something. When John was writing, having the vision of Revelation and writing it, the temple in Jerusalem had been taken under control of the Gentiles 20 to 30 years earlier, in 70. When John was having this vision, it was the year 93, 94, 95. He was extradited, if you will, by Emperor Nero to the island of Patmos to shut up his mouth from preaching his gospel all through Europe. So when John is having his vision, in this reed he's being given, he's not measuring a literal temple because he's having a vision. And whatever the temple of God signified, and the altar and the people, he had to measure all that with this reed. It says, but the court which is without the temple, the court outside the temple, leave it out, and measure it not. For it is given unto the Gentiles. And the holy city shall they tread under foot 42 months. Now some people find this to be literally 3.5 years. But this could also be prophetic months, which would give us 1,260 years. Because some people teach it as 3.5 years, which 42 months is 3.5 years. But 42 months prophetically is 1,260 days. Just like 3.5 years is 1,200. 42 months prophetically is 1,260 years. Just like 3.5 years literally is 1,260 days. Just like the Lord, Daniel, the whole vision about the 70 weeks was him talking about, we supposed to go back after 70 years. God said, well, look, 70 weeks is determined upon your people. He used the 70 years and turned it into 70 weeks, which gave you 70 sets of 7 years, which gave us the 490 years from the rebuilding of the temple, from the commandment to rebuild the temple until the coming of the Messiah, the Prince. Come on, y'all. So that's what I'm saying. I'm telling you, I'm not 100% sure on everything in Revelation. But a lot of you are claiming like y'all just got Revelation down pat because y'all teachers claim to have Revelation down pat. So whatever they told y'all the visions of Revelation mean, that's what y'all believe they mean. And were these two witnesses ever talked about in the prophets so we can understand what the two witnesses are? But we're not getting into the two witnesses. I just went here to show the part about he had to measure the temple of God, he had to measure the altar and measure the people, but he didn't measure the outer court because it was given unto the Gentiles. But the outer court had been given unto the Gentiles way back in the days when the Messiah said, when Jerusalem is destroyed, it shall be given to the Gentiles and trodden underfoot until their time be fulfilled. So when this is given to them, this is still part of their time being fulfilled. It didn't just get given to the Gentiles in the future. The Gentiles already had the outer court already when he had this vision. But that's other lessons. We got lessons. My brother Judah did a great lesson on what this could possibly mean here when he talk about measure the temple of God and the people. But those are other lessons. So what I'm saying is this. As he talked about the two witnesses, the temple of God ain't got nothing to do with the two witnesses. Why? Because whatever happens, the Gentiles ain't got no part in this prophecy of having anything to do with the temple of God and the people that worship and the altar. Because they have been measured. But the outer court don't measure because that's for the Gentiles. So in this vision, the Gentiles have rule and control over the outer court. But whatever is going on with the temple and everything, God is keeping his eye on that. And what I'm telling you is that in order for me to believe that it's going to be a temple standing with an altar and the true service of God worship in it, to be measured in this way, that means Edom and Japheth got to build it. Because we not going to build it, me and you. Or any other Israelites, Ben Ami and them over there in Demona or whatever they villages, they not going to build it. They ain't got no power in that land. They are subject over there like they was in America. They just like Israel better.